Okay, so welcome to another episode of Big Time Success Stories with Small Town People. This is a show dedicated on highlighting the successes of people across the Missouri and Illinois region and give them an opportunity to tell us their story on how they got to where they are. My name is Jeff Seeberger. I'm with Kelsey Brenneisen, and we are the hosts of the show. In today's episode, we get to feature one of the icons of Centralia, Illinois, Sonya Gettinger. Sonya is owner and operator of 3 hair salons. Hollywood Hair is where we are filming at today in Centralia. And so Sonya, welcome. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So, I know you're a Centralian. You've been around Centralia a long time. Kelsey and I are both from here as well. But give us an idea and tell our audience a little bit, if you don't mind, about how you grew up. What was that like growing up for you here?
Well, I started with my parents. They owned Jerry's Bigger Jigger in Womack, and I worked with them until I was about 28, and Jerry's burnt to the ground. So we had to start over. Well, while we were rebuilding, I decided to go to cosmetology school, and I totally loved it. Still was the service industry, which I was already a part of since I was a little kid. So it was just a different extension of it. You physically touch people here, whereas at the restaurant you didn't physically touch them, but you did touch them in a different way.
Sure.
So that was cool.
Yeah, cool.
So,
What's your earliest memory of working?
oh, probably my dad believed when you were 7 years old you could do dishes.
Well, you did it at home. Why not at the restaurant?
Yeah, so we did dishes, 7 and 8, my sister and I. We had to get on stools in the back at Jerry's, but if somebody didn't show up, he's like, well, the girls can do it. And at that time, we thought it was great fun.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
What are some successful habits that you've created for yourself?
Well, I think, and I tell anyone that asks me about the cosmetology industry, if you don't get out of bed every morning before your alarm goes off and you're ready to go and make it great, that this probably isn't the profession for you. Can you make money? Yes, but great money? No.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fallacy about the hair industry, is that your parents, if you tell them you want to go to cosmetology school, they're like, oh no, you need something to fall back on. Well, I don't believe that. We have some really top earners in our company right now, but we also do this as a profession. We don't do it as a part-time job.
So where did the idea for Hollywood Hair come from? Take us back in time and help us understand how you came up with the name, how you came up with the vision for Hollywood Hair, and then how did it spawn into 3 other salons?
So when I got out of school, I decided to open my own business, and my husband said, go ahead. And there was a building right next to him that they owned, and they let me rent it for them for really cheap. And the first year I came home every night and I cried. And I said, I don't think I can do it. And he said, why not? Do they not like it, their hair? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, if they don't come back, then you know they didn't.
Yeah.
And so then when people started coming back, and I think your mom was one of those people, I realized, okay, maybe I can, do this and make a good living at it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's great.
Where'd you get the name Hollywood Hair?
Well, I was in a hotel in Vegas, and I was thinking about opening my own, and we used to live in Vegas when we were kids, and our parents would take us back there. And I went back with my mom and my sister just to see where we used to live, and we like to go and just check out how Vegas was changing over the years. And I was in a hotel, and I just started thumbing through the phone book, and when I opened the book, Hollywood Hair was the first salon, and I said, that's it, we're just going to call it that.
Wow.
And that's how I got the name of it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What do you think all successful people have something in common?
I do, and I read tons of books on the way it should look. And I think it looks this way because they probably, not because I read a book and that's the way it should be. I think that you just have it. Like I know you just talked about getting up and going to work way before 8. Well, I do the same thing. Now, we don't open here until 10, but at 6 in the morning, my brain is going.
Starting.
Yeah, and what do I need to do, and who do I need to do it for, and making a list, and going over what we did the day before, what we did the week before, what we're going to do in the future. And I think that comes to people that run businesses nothing's trained about that. That's just part of who you are.
I agree. It's built in you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you mentioned you read a lot. What's some of your favorite books?
Raving Fans, I think, is a great one. A lot of the books are about this big. You know, they're smaller, and I'll read them in one day.
What's been the best piece of advice that you've received that has really stuck with you?
Systems for sure,
Mm-hmm.
because we have a system down to when you lock the door at night,
Mhm.
you know. And I think having those in place have really helped, because when you bring people on, first thing we do is give them all the systems, you know, and then we tell them, we have them when they're training, we go over every day what every step looks like.
Mhm.
So I'd say putting systems in place before you did anything else was probably the best advice.
So obviously this show is dedicated on success tips and hearing stories from successful people on how they got there. So if you had to give one piece of advice on how to get or become successful, somebody's watching this show 3 years from now, what would you tell them as far as what they may need to know about how to be successful?
I think it will be your baby. You will treat it just like you do your children. The other thing I think too about being a leader is you have to show people the way. And to me, they'll follow. And not follow you, but be beside you and help you grow.
Sure. That's awesome.
I
Great
love it.
advice.
Thank
Great
you.
advice.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time today. It's been really awesome getting to know you a little bit more than I already had, and hearing your story and hearing about the passion you have for the hair business. And wish you the best of luck in everything that you do going forward, and maybe even more, opening more salons.
Well, thank you. And you guys, it's so funny because you were kids when I opened this business.
Yeah.
And both your grandma and your mom were my best clients, And it's so neat
Grow
in
up,
Centralia to
yeah.
watch all the young people coming in and taking their parents' positions and making our town great.
Well, again, Sonya, thank you again for your time today. Really appreciate all the stories and all the lessons that we can all take away from the time today. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Yep.
We appreciate you.
No problem. You're welcome. Well, that's it for this episode. Please tune in next time for big time success stories from small town people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.